When Michael Jordan sits alone in his office at 9:05 a.m., staring at his cold coffee, he has no idea his entire world is about to change. The greatest basketball player of all time called a meeting with his staff, but nobody showed up. Not one person, 23 employees, all of them late. And MJ doesn't do late. His anger is building, his trust is breaking. In just 10 minutes, he'll make a phone call that changes everything. He'll fire people. He'll uncover lies. He'll discover a secret plan that could destroy everything he built. But here's what nobody knows yet. His staff isn't being disrespectful. They're not ignoring him. Someone sent them a fake email. Someone sabotaged the most important meeting of their lives. Someone wanted to stop them from telling MJ the truth. A truth about budget cuts that will hurt thousands of families. A truth about a young woman named Elena who once depended on MJ's charity to survive. A truth about good people risking everything to do what's right. What happens next will shock you. There's betrayal from people MJ trusted. There's courage from people he underestimated. And there's a twist nobody saw coming. Will MJ fire everyone before he learns the truth? Will Elena lose her dream job? Who sent the fake email? And what does a $20 million real estate deal have to do with hungry children in Charlotte? Watch this entire video to find out how one terrible morning became the day that changed Michael Jordan forever. Because what starts as the worst day of their lives becomes the moment everything finally makes sense. This is the story of the day MJ almost lost his heart, and how his staff helped him find it again. Michael Jordan looked at his watch. 9:05 a.m. He sat alone in his big office at the Charlotte Hornets headquarters. His coffee was getting cold on the desk. The steam had stopped rising 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes. That's how long he had been waiting. MJ wasn't used to waiting. When he played basketball, he made other people wait. Wait for their chance to score. Wait for him to miss a shot. They waited a long time because MJ never missed when it mattered. But today was different. Today, Michael Jordan was the one waiting. He had called a meeting, 9 o'clock sharp. He sent the email to every single person who worked in the front office. 23 people total, assistants, managers, directors, everyone. The meeting was important. He needed to talk to them about the team, about changes, about the future. But nobody came. Not one person. MJ stood up and walked to his window. He looked down at the parking lot below. Cars filled every spot. His employees were here. They were in the building. Their cars proved it. So where were they? The hallways outside his office were silent. No footsteps, no voices, no sounds of people hurrying to a meeting they were late for. The phones weren't ringing. The copy machine wasn't running. It was like everyone had disappeared. MJ felt something he didn't feel very often. Confusion. And underneath that confusion, something else was growing. Anger. He walked back to his desk. He picked up his phone and looked at the meeting invite he had sent. Friday afternoon, subject line, all staff meeting, Monday 9 a.m., mandatory. Mandatory meant you had to be there. It wasn't a choice. He had won 6 NBA championships. He had played through the flu. He had hit game-winning shots with seconds left on the clock. He had never ever quit on his team, and his team had never quit on him. Until now. MJ sat back down. His jaw was tight. His hands were on the armrests of his chair. He remembered all the times teammates were late to practice. He never allowed it. If you were late, you ran extra sprints. If you were late again, you sat on the bench. Respect. That's what being on time meant. It meant you respected your teammates. You respected your coach. You respected the game. Did his staff respect him? The office felt too quiet, too empty. MJ looked at the pictures on his wall. Championships, trophies, moments of glory. He had built a legacy on never accepting less than the best. From himself, from others. This wasn't the best. This was disrespect. 9:10 a.m. now. 10 minutes late. All 23 people. Something was very wrong. This wasn't an accident. You don't have 23 people all accidentally miss the same meeting. Not when the boss calls it. Not when it says mandatory. MJ felt his hands grip the armrest tighter. He had made a decision. He picked up his phone. He dialed security. "This is Michael Jordan," he said, his voice calm but cold. I need you to gather every staff member in this building, every single one. Bring them to the conference room. You have 5 minutes. He paused. Tell them if they're not there in 5 minutes, they can pack their things and leave. Permanently. He hung up the phone. Michael Jordan was done waiting. But he didn't know the whole story yet. He didn't know about Elena Martinez. 2 months earlier, Elena had walked through the front doors of the Charlotte Hornets headquarters for her first day of work. She was 23 years old, fresh out of college. Her hands were shaking with excitement. This wasn't just a job to her. This was a dream coming true. Elena grew up in a small apartment in Charlotte. Her father, Roberto Martinez, worked 3 jobs to take care of their family. He cleaned offices at night. He delivered packages in the morning. He cooked at a restaurant on weekends. Roberto never complained. He told Elena every single day, "Work hard, mija. Education is your key to a better life." Elena worked hard. She got good grades. She stayed out of trouble. She made her papa proud. Then when Elena was 10 years old, everything changed. Roberto got sick, really sick. The doctors said he had diabetes and his heart was weak. He couldn't work anymore. Not 3 jobs, not even 1 job. The money stopped coming. The bills kept coming. Elena's mother, Maria, tried to find work, but it wasn't enough. They couldn't pay rent. They couldn't buy food. Elena wore the same 2 outfits to school every week. She was embarrassed. She was scared. She was hungry. One day in December, right before Christmas, someone knocked on their apartment door. Elena opened it. A woman stood there with boxes. "We're from the Hornets Care Foundation," the woman said, smiling. "We heard your family could use some help." The boxes had food, canned goods, rice, beans, pasta, fresh fruit, everything they needed. There were also presents, a warm coat for Elena, toys, books, gift cards for groceries. Elena's mother cried. Roberto cried. Elena cried too. "Why are you helping us?" Maria asked. "Because we're all part of Charlotte," the woman said. "And in Charlotte, we take care of each other. The Hornets organization wants every family in this city to have hope." Hope. That word stuck with Elena. For 6 months, the Hornets Care Foundation helped Elena's family. They brought food every week. They helped pay medical bills. They gave Roberto resources to manage his diabetes. Slowly, Roberto got better. He found a job he could do sitting down. The family survived. Elena never forgot that kindness. She never forgot that the Hornets saved her family. She decided right then, at 10 years old, that she would work for the Hornets one day. Not because she loved basketball, because she wanted to help families just like hers. 13 years later, her dream came true. "Welcome to the Hornets family," Marcus Chen said on Elena's first day. He was her supervisor, 45 years old with kind eyes and a warm smile. He had worked for the Hornets for 12 years. Marcus showed Elena around the community outreach department. "We help about 5,000 families every year," he explained. "Food programs, job training, after-school activities, medical assistance. We're more than a basketball team, Elena. We're family." Elena felt her heart swell. "My family was helped by the Hornets when I was little," she told Marcus. "That's why I wanted to work here." Marcus smiled. "Then you understand what we do. This isn't just work. This is changing lives." For 3 weeks, Elena loved every single day. She met families. She delivered food boxes just like the ones she received as a child. She saw children smile. She saw parents cry with relief. She called her father every night. "Papa, I'm helping people, just like we were helped." Roberto was so proud he could barely speak. Then 3 weeks ago, everything changed again. Marcus called a department meeting. His face was pale. His hands were shaking. "I just got news from upstairs," he said quietly. "There are budget cuts coming. Big cuts. Our programs are being reduced by 70%. Elena felt her stomach drop. 70%. That meant most families wouldn't get help anymore. That meant children would go hungry. That meant families like hers would have nowhere to turn. "What about the families we're already helping?" Elena asked, her voice breaking. Marcus looked at the floor. "We'll have to cut them off. There's no money." Elena thought about the woman who knocked on her door when she was 10. She thought about the hope that woman gave her family. Now she would have to take that hope away from other families. That night, Elena made a decision. A decision that would cost her everything. But she didn't care. Some things mattered more than keeping your job. Elena believed that. But there was someone else in the building who was struggling with the same question. Trevor Williams sat at his desk outside Michael Jordan's office. He stared at his computer screen, but he wasn't really seeing it. Trevor was 32 years old. He was MJ's executive assistant, the best executive assistant in the entire organization, maybe the best in all of professional basketball. For 3 years, Trevor had done everything perfectly. He answered emails in minutes. He scheduled meetings down to the second. He solved problems before MJ even knew they existed. Michael Jordan trusted him completely. That trust was everything to Trevor, because MJ was his hero. Trevor grew up in Chicago. He was 7 years old when he watched Michael Jordan win his first championship. He cried when MJ retired. He celebrated when MJ came back. He wore number 23 in every sport he played. Getting hired as MJ's assistant was like winning the lottery. Better than the lottery. "I work for Michael Jordan," Trevor told his mother the day he got the job. She hugged him so tight he could barely breathe. For 3 years, everything was perfect. Trevor loved his job. He loved working for his hero. He never complained. He never made mistakes until 2 months ago. MJ called Trevor into his office. "The team is losing money," MJ said. "We need to cut the budget by 30%. Make it happen." Trevor felt his chest get tight. 30% was a lot of money. "Where should I cut?" Trevor asked. "I don't care where," MJ said. "But don't touch anything that affects winning. Don't touch player development. Don't touch coaching. Don't touch scouting. Keep the wins. Cut everything else." MJ signed some papers and looked back at his computer. The conversation was over. Trevor went back to his desk. He opened the budget spreadsheet. He looked at every department, every program, every expense. He did the math over and over, but the numbers didn't lie. The only way to cut 30% without touching basketball operations was to cut community programs and staff salaries. Trevor worked for 2 weeks on the proposal. He barely slept. He tried to find other options, but there weren't any. Finally, he printed the budget cuts and put them on MJ's desk. His hands were shaking. MJ signed the document without reading every detail. He was busy preparing for a road trip. He trusted Trevor. He always trusted Trevor. "Good work," MJ said. Trevor walked back to his desk. He should have felt proud. He did what his boss asked, but he felt sick instead. The next morning, the budget memo went out to all departments. Trevor watched people read it. He saw their faces change. Marcus Chen stared at the paper like it was a death sentence. His hands were shaking. Elena Martinez started crying at her desk. Quiet tears that she tried to hide. Sarah Patterson, a single mother who worked in accounting, put her head in her hands. Trevor had done this. He had caused this pain. He followed orders, but the pain was real. That night, Trevor couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about the families who wouldn't get help anymore, the children who would go hungry, the people who would lose hope. He had done what MJ asked. But was it right? The next day, Elena walked past his desk. Her eyes were red from crying. "How could you?" she whispered. She didn't wait for an answer. Trevor felt something break inside him. That afternoon, he did something he had never done before, something that could end his career. He sent a secret email to all staff members, not including MJ. "Meeting, conference room B, after work today, we need to talk." 15 people showed up. Elena was there. Marcus was there. Sarah was there. They all looked at Trevor with anger and hurt in their eyes. "I know what I did," Trevor said. His voice was shaking. "I know what's happening to our programs. I'm the one who made the cuts, and I'm sorry." "Sorry doesn't feed hungry kids," Elena said. Her voice was quiet but strong. "Sorry doesn't help families like mine." Marcus stood up. "We need to talk to MJ, together, all of us. We need to make him understand what these cuts really mean, what they'll do to real people." Trevor looked around the room. This could end everything: his job, his career, his relationship with his hero. But Elena was right. Some things mattered more. "I'll arrange it," Trevor finally said. "I'll schedule a meeting with MJ. We'll present everything, the stories, the data, the truth." The staff started planning. They would show MJ the real impact of his decision. They would make him understand. But Trevor made one critical mistake that day. A mistake that would lead to disaster. A mistake that would put all of them in that conference room, facing an angry Michael Jordan, wondering if they still had jobs. But Trevor didn't know that yet. None of them did. For 2 weeks, the staff worked on their presentation. They met every day after work. They gathered stories. They collected data. They prepared everything carefully. Elena's job was to interview families. She talked to people who had been helped by Hornets programs. She met a mother named Patricia who had 3 children. Patricia lost her job and couldn't afford food. The Hornets food program fed her family for 4 months until she found new work. Without that help, I don't know what we would have done, Patricia said, tears in her eyes. Maybe we would have been homeless. The Hornets saved us. Elena met a boy named Jamal. He was 12 years old. He went to the Hornets after-school program every day. They gave him dinner. They helped him with homework. They kept him safe while his mom worked 2 jobs. This program is my second home, Jamal said. The coaches here believe in me. They tell me I can go to college. Nobody ever told me that before. Elena interviewed 15 families. Every story broke her heart and made her more determined. She also did something else, something personal. She asked her father to record a video message. Roberto Martinez sat in his living room, looking at the camera. His hands were folded in his lap. His voice was soft but clear. When I was sick, I couldn't work, he said. I couldn't buy food for my daughter. I felt like I failed as a father. Then the Hornets program came. They fed my family for 6 months. They saved us. They gave my Elena hope. His voice got quieter. Now she works for them. I'm so proud. This team isn't just basketball. It's love. It's family. It's proof that people care. Elena watched the video 3 times. She cried every time. Marcus worked on the impact reports. He had 12 years of data, numbers that told the story of hope. The Hornets programs had helped 50,000 families over 12 years. 50,000. They had provided 200,000 meals. They had given out 5,000 coats to children who needed them. They had helped 300 people find jobs. Marcus made charts and graphs. He printed reports. He wanted MJ to see exactly what they were cutting. Sarah Patterson worked on solutions. She was brilliant with numbers. She found ways to save money without destroying programs. We can reduce office supply costs by 20%, she explained at one of their meetings. We can renegotiate our insurance contracts. We can cut executive travel budgets. We can do both things, save money and help people. Sarah stayed up until midnight every night for a week. Her daughter asked why mommy was always working. I'm fighting for something important, Sarah told her. Sometimes grown-ups have to fight for what's right. Trevor's job was to schedule the meeting. He sent a calendar invite to MJ and all staff members. Monday, 9 a.m. Conference room A. But in the description, Trevor made his fatal error. He wrote, staff presentation on budget concerns and community impact. He thought he was being clear. He thought MJ would understand. But he wasn't specific enough. He didn't explain that the staff wanted to challenge the budget cuts. He didn't say they had an alternative proposal. He didn't want to make MJ defensive before the presentation. So he kept the description simple. Too simple. When MJ saw the meeting invite, he assumed it was about the budget cuts he already approved. Maybe an update on how the staff was handling the changes. Maybe a routine report. He didn't realize his entire staff was planning to ask him to change his mind. The weekend before the meeting, everyone was nervous. They gathered on Saturday at Marcus's house to practice. They went through the presentation 5 times. Elena practiced telling the family stories. Her voice shook at first, but by the 5th time, she was stronger. What if he gets angry? Elena asked. What if he fires us all? He's Michael Jordan, Marcus said. The most competitive person in the world. But he's also fair. If we show him the truth, he'll listen. He has to listen. Trevor wasn't so sure. He knew MJ better than anyone. MJ didn't like being challenged, especially not in front of a group, especially not about decisions he already made. We need to be respectful, Trevor warned everyone. We present the facts. We offer solutions. We don't make it emotional. We don't make it personal. Sarah nodded. We're professionals. We're giving him information. That's all. Everyone agreed. They would be calm, professional, respectful. Sunday night, Elena couldn't eat dinner. She was too nervous. She kept watching her father's video over and over. This will work, she told herself. It has to work. Monday morning arrived. Elena got to the office at 8:30. She wanted to be early. She wanted everything perfect. Marcus arrived at 8:35, Sarah at 8:40. Other staff members came in one by one. At 8:45, they gathered in the hallway outside conference room A. Everyone had their materials. Everyone was ready. Then Trevor's phone buzzed. An email. His face went white. "Everyone check your email," he said quietly. The staff pulled out their phones. They all had the same message. Subject: urgent, mandatory expense audit from Corporate Finance Department. All staff must submit detailed expense reports immediately. Every purchase from the last 6 months must be documented and justified. This is required for an emergency financial audit. Reports must be submitted by 9:30 a.m. today. No exceptions. Failure to comply will result in disciplinary action. Panic spread through the group like fire. "What do we do?" Elena asked. Her hands were shaking. "We have to do the expense reports," Sarah said. "This is mandatory. If we don't comply, we could get fired for insubordination." "But the meeting with MJ is in 15 minutes. Marcus looked at his watch. "We'll work fast. We'll finish the reports and then go to the meeting. Maybe we'll be a few minutes late, but we'll explain." Trevor felt sick to his stomach. Something felt wrong about this. But the email looked official. It had the corporate logo. It came from a corporate email address. "Everyone to your desks," Trevor said. "Work as fast as you can. We'll get to the meeting as soon as possible." The staff scattered. They ran to their desks. They started pulling up expense records from the last 6 months. It was chaos. Receipts, purchase orders, travel expenses. Everything had to be documented. Elena's hands were shaking so hard she could barely type. She kept looking at the clock. 8:50 a.m., 8:55 a.m., 9 a.m. The meeting was supposed to start, but nobody was there. They were all drowning in expense reports. Trevor looked at his watch. They were late. They were late to the most important meeting of their lives. He should have gone to MJ's office. He should have explained, but he was buried in paperwork too. And he was terrified. If they didn't finish these expense reports, they could all be fired anyway. Meanwhile, in his office, Michael Jordan sat alone, waiting. At 9:05, his patience ran out. He picked up the phone and called security. The staff had no idea what was about to happen. They had no idea the expense audit was fake, and they had no idea who sent it. At 9:15 a.m., security guards appeared at every desk throughout the office. Elena looked up from her computer. A tall security guard stood over her. "Conference room A," he said. "Right now, Mr. Jordan's orders." Elena's heart stopped. Marcus looked up from his desk across the room. Sarah dropped her pen. Trevor stood up so fast his chair rolled backward. "But the expense reports," Elena started. "Now," the guard repeated. "Everyone, Mr. Jordan is waiting." The staff looked at each other with fear in their eyes. The expense audit email said 9:30 a.m. Why were they being pulled away early? They walked down the hallway in silence. Nobody spoke. Elena's legs felt weak. Her presentation materials were still on her desk. "Wait," she said. "I need to get my—" "No time," the security guard said. "Move." They filed into conference room A. The room felt cold. The lights were too bright. Michael Jordan stood at the head of the table. His arms were crossed over his chest. His face looked like stone. Elena had never seen anyone look that angry before. "Sit," MJ said. It wasn't a request, it was an order. Everyone sat. The chair scraped against the floor. The sound was too loud in the silent room. MJ looked at each person slowly. Elena couldn't meet his eyes. Marcus stared at the table. Sarah's hands were shaking. Trevor looked like he might be sick. "I called a meeting for 9:00 a.m., MJ said. His voice was quiet, but it filled the room like thunder. It's now 9:17. Not one of you showed up. Not one of you called. Not one of you even had the respect to send an email." Trevor opened his mouth. "Mr. Jordan, I'm not finished," MJ cut him off. The words were sharp as knives. He walked slowly around the table. His footsteps were the only sound. "Do you know how many times I showed up early to practice? Every single time. Do you know how many times I was late? Never. Never. He stopped walking. He looked at Trevor. I trusted you to build a team that worked like I played, with discipline, with respect, with heart. His voice got quieter. Somehow that was worse than yelling. Instead, I get people who can't even show up to a meeting, people who think my time doesn't matter. Elena couldn't take it anymore. She stood up. Everyone gasped. You didn't stand up when Michael Jordan was talking. You didn't interrupt him. But Elena was done being quiet. We were going to show up, she said. Her voice was shaking, but she kept talking. We were. We wanted to be here. But we got an email about an emergency expense audit. It said we had to submit reports by 9:30 or face disciplinary action. We thought, what email? MJ demanded. Trevor pulled out his phone with trembling hands. So did Sarah. So did Marcus. They searched their inboxes. They found the message. They passed their phones to MJ. MJ read the email. His expression changed from anger to something else. Confusion. He pulled out his own phone. He forwarded the email to someone. His fingers moved fast across the screen. The room was silent. Everyone waited. 2 minutes felt like 2 hours. Finally, MJ's phone buzzed. He read the message. His jaw got tight. It's fake, MJ said. His voice was flat. This email didn't come from corporate. Someone created a fake email address that looked real. Someone sent it to sabotage this meeting. The words hung in the air like smoke. Elena felt her knees get weak. She sat back down. Who would do that? Sarah whispered. Trevor's face changed. Elena saw the exact moment he understood. The budget cuts, Trevor said slowly. Who benefits if we can't present our case to you? Who doesn't want this meeting to happen? The staff started looking at each other, thinking, putting pieces together. MJ sat down for the first time. He wasn't standing over them anymore. He was sitting with them. What was this meeting supposed to be about? He asked. His voice was different now, calmer, curious. Marcus stood up. His hands weren't shaking anymore. We have a presentation, he said quietly. We wanted to show you the impact of the budget cuts, the real impact, on real people. MJ was quiet for a long moment. Show me, he said. Elena ran back to her desk. So did Marcus and Sarah. They grabbed their materials and rushed back. For the next 30 minutes, they presented everything they had prepared. Marcus went first. He showed the numbers. 50,000 families helped over 12 years. Charts and graphs that told a story of hope and change. These aren't just numbers, Marcus said. Every number is a person, a child, a family, a life that got better because we cared. Sarah presented her alternative budget solutions. Ways to save money without cutting programs. We can be smart and kind at the same time, she explained. We can save the organization money and help our community. Here's exactly how. Then it was Elena's turn. Her hands were shaking so badly she almost dropped her laptop. But she took a deep breath and started. She told the stories of the families she interviewed. Patricia and her 3 children, Jamal and his dreams of college, all the people who needed help. Then she played her father's video. Roberto Martinez appeared on the screen. His gentle face, his soft voice. When I was sick, I couldn't work. I couldn't buy food for my daughter. I felt like I failed as a father. Elena watched MJ's face. He was listening, really listening. Then the Hornets program came. They fed my family for 6 months. They saved us. They gave my Elena hope. Roberto's voice got quieter, softer. Now she works for them. I'm so proud. This team isn't just basketball, it's love. It's family, it's proof that people care. The video ended. Elena was crying. She couldn't help it. Half the staff was crying too. She looked at MJ. His eyes looked different, wet, like he was holding something back. Nobody spoke for a long time. Finally, MJ stood up. He walked to the window. He looked out at Charlotte. At the city his team called home. The staff waited, barely breathing. MJ turned around. Who knew about this presentation? He asked quietly. Just us, Trevor said. The staff. We didn't tell anyone else. Who had access to your email systems? Who could create a fake email address? Trevor's eyes went wide. Your executive team, the board members, senior management. MJ pulled out his phone. He made a call. I need an emergency board meeting, right now. I don't care what they're doing. Tell them to be here in 1 hour or I'm removing them from the board. He hung up. Wait here, he told the staff. MJ left the conference room. The door closed behind him. The staff sat in silence. What just happened? What was happening now? 1 hour later, MJ came back. His face was hard to read. The staff braced themselves. This was it. The moment that would decide everything. Were they fired? Were they saved? MJ stood at the head of the table again, but this time, something was different in his eyes. I'm firing someone today, MJ said. Elena felt her heart drop into her stomach. This was it. She closed her eyes. Her dream job was over. All of it, over. I'm firing Richard Blackwell from the board, effective immediately. Elena's eyes flew open. Wait, what? Everyone's heads snapped up. They stared at MJ. I'm also firing Gerald Thompson and Lisa Chen from the board, and I'm removing David Park from his executive position. MJ's voice was steady, strong, angry. They sent the fake email. They sabotaged this meeting, and when I confronted them, they admitted everything. The room was completely silent. Nobody moved. Nobody breathed. Richard Blackwell has been planning to sell his stake in the team for 6 months, MJ continued. He wanted the budget cuts to make our finances look better for potential buyers. Community programs were wasted money to him. MJ's hands were fists at his sides. The other 3 were helping him. They've been feeding negative stories to the media about my ownership, making me look bad, trying to force me out. Marcus put his hand over his mouth. Sarah's eyes were wide with shock. The fake email was just one part of their plan, MJ said. They knew if you presented your case, I might change my mind, so they stopped you. Trevor stood up slowly. I'm so sorry, Mr. Jordan. I should have been more careful. I should have... Sit down, Trevor, MJ said, but his voice wasn't angry anymore. It was tired, sad. MJ looked at his staff, really looked at them, not with anger, with something else, regret. I failed you, he said quietly. Elena couldn't believe what she was hearing. Michael Jordan was apologizing. I signed budget cuts without understanding them. I trusted the wrong people. I stopped paying attention to what matters. He walked around the table slowly. He stopped at Elena's chair. Your father was helped by our programs. You came to work here because you wanted to help other families. And I almost destroyed that. He looked right at her. I'm sorry, Elena. Elena felt tears running down her face. She couldn't speak. MJ moved to Marcus. You've given 12 years to this organization. You built something beautiful, something that changes lives, and I almost threw it away. His voice cracked. I'm sorry, Marcus. Marcus wiped his eyes with his hand. MJ looked at Sarah. You found solutions I was too busy to see. You proved we could be smart and kind at the same time. I should have asked you first. I'm sorry. He stopped at Trevor's chair. Trevor was looking down at the table. Trevor, you tried to fix my mistake. You put your career at risk to help this team. You're a better man than I gave you credit for. I'm sorry. The room felt heavy with emotion, with change. Here's what's going to happen, MJ said, his voice getting stronger. The budget cuts are canceled, all of them. The community programs are fully funded again. Relief washed over Elena like warm water. She let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. But that's not enough, MJ continued. We're expanding the programs, doubling our community investment. Sarah gasped. Marcus looked like he might faint. If we need money, we'll find it elsewhere. We'll cut executive salaries, starting with mine. I make too much money anyway. He smiled for the first time that morning. It was small, but it was real. Trevor, you're promoted, Vice President of Community Impact. You'll oversee all our programs, work with Elena, Marcus, Sarah, and everyone else. Build something that makes this city proud. Trevor's mouth opened. No words came out. He just nodded, tears in his eyes. I made a mistake today, MJ said. I almost fired my entire staff for being late. But you weren't late. You were stopped by people who don't understand what this team is really about. He put his hands on the table and leaned forward. We're not just a basketball team. We're a family. We're hope for people who need it. We're proof that success means nothing if it doesn't help others. MJ straightened up. He looked at every person in the room. So I am firing people today. I'm firing the old staff. The staff who just collected paychecks. The staff who didn't stand up for what's right. He paused. And I'm hiring a new staff. A staff who fights for people who can't fight for themselves. A staff who has the courage to challenge me when I'm wrong. A staff who understands that the biggest wins happen off the court. He pointed at everyone in the room. You're all hired. New contracts, better pay, real power to make decisions that help people. Who's in? Every hand shot up. No hesitation. Good, MJ said. Now get back to work. We have families to help. The staff started to stand, started to leave, started to celebrate. Wait, MJ said. His voice was serious again. Everyone froze. There's one more thing, MJ said. Richard Blackwell didn't work alone. We found evidence of something bigger. Someone outside the organization was paying him, paying all of them. Trevor sat back down. Who? I don't know yet, MJ said, but we're going to find out. Over the next week, the investigation uncovered the truth, and it was bigger than anyone expected. Richard Blackwell had been talking to a real estate developer named Marcus Thornton. Marcus Thornton wanted to buy the land where the Hornets Community Center stood. The land was worth $20 million. But the community center was in the way, and the Hornets would never sell it, not while they ran programs there, unless the programs were cut. That's when Richard came up with his plan. Cut the community programs. Close the community center. Make the team's finances look bad. Force MJ to sell everything. Richard would get rich. Marcus Thornton would get the land. The board members who helped would get paid. And the families who needed help? Nobody cared about them. MJ fired everyone involved. He called the police. He made sure they would face consequences. Then he did something else. Something that changed everything. He bought the community center building himself, with his own money. Then he gave it to the Hornets organization as a gift. This building will help families forever, MJ announced. Nobody can ever sell it. It's protected. It's permanent. The staff cried when they heard the news. Elena hugged Marcus. Sarah hugged Trevor. Everyone hugged everyone. But the real work was just beginning. Elena became the director of the Family Assistance Program. She was 23 years old and running one of the biggest charity programs in Charlotte. Her first act was to bring back every family that had been cut. She called them personally. We made a mistake, she told each one, but we're fixing it. You're part of our family again. Then she expanded the program. She tripled the number of families they helped. She added new services, medical help, job training, school supplies, whatever people needed. She created a scholarship fund for kids from struggling families, kids like she used to be. The first scholarship was named after her father, the Roberto Martinez Hope Scholarship. When Elena told her father, he cried for an hour straight. You did it, mija, Roberto said, holding her hands. You're changing the world. You're giving hope to families just like ours. Elena thought about the woman who knocked on their door when she was 10. Now she was that woman for other families. Marcus expanded the programs to 5 other cities. The Hornets model became famous. Other basketball teams called asking for help. How do you do it? They asked. How do you help so many people? Marcus shared everything. He gave them his plans, his contacts, his advice. This isn't about competition, Marcus said. This is about helping people. Everyone should do this. He won a National Community Service Award that year. MJ personally presented it to him at a ceremony. You taught me something, MJ told Marcus in front of 500 people. Championships are important, but only if they mean something to people who need hope. The audience gave them a standing ovation. Sarah's financial restructuring saved the team $8 million. $8 million without cutting a single program. She proved that doing good and making smart business decisions weren't opposites. They worked together. MJ promoted her to Chief Financial Officer. She became the first woman CFO in Hornets history. My daughter will grow up knowing women can do anything, Sarah said at the press conference. Trevor built the Community Impact Department into the best in all of professional sports. Teams from the NBA, NFL, and MLB called him for advice. He shared everything he learned. He helped other teams start their own programs. This isn't our secret, Trevor said. This should be everywhere. Every team should help their city like this. But the biggest change happened to Michael Jordan himself. That morning in his office changed him. The morning he almost fired everyone for being late. The morning he learned what really mattered. He started spending one day every month volunteering in the community programs. Not for cameras, not for publicity, just to help. He met families. He heard their stories. He saw tears of gratitude. He saw children smile. One day he met a little girl named Maya. She was 10 years old, the same age Elena had been. "Thank you for helping my family," Maya said shyly. "My mom says you're a hero." MJ knelt down to her level. "You know what makes a real hero?" he asked. Maya shook her head. "Someone who helps others. Your mom is a hero. She takes care of you. The people who work here are heroes. They help families every day." He smiled. "I'm just a basketball player who learned an important lesson. Winning games is good, but helping people is better." Maya hugged him. MJ hugged her back. He thought about Elena's father's video, the video that broke his heart open, the video that changed everything. The Hornets started winning more games too. Players wanted to join a team that stood for something real. Fans filled the arena to support an organization that cared about Charlotte. The team that almost cut its heart became the team with the biggest heart in basketball. 1 year after that terrible Monday morning, MJ called another all-staff meeting. This time, when everyone showed up at 8:45 a.m., 15 minutes early, MJ smiled when he walked into the conference room. "Old habits," he said. But this wasn't a regular meeting. This was a celebration. The Hornets community programs had helped 75,000 families that year, 3 times more than ever before. They had created 500 jobs in Charlotte. They had provided 100,000 meals to hungry children. They had given out 1,000 scholarships to students who needed help. Elena's program alone had changed 10,000 lives. "I have an announcement," MJ said. The room got quiet. "We're creating a permanent endowment, $50 million, to make sure our community programs never get cut again, no matter what happens, no matter who owns this team in the future." The staff erupted in applause. People were crying, laughing, hugging each other. Elena thought about the day she almost lost everything, the day she stood up to Michael Jordan, the scariest day of her life. It had also been the best day of her life. "And," MJ continued, "we're naming the endowment after someone special, someone who had the courage to risk everything to do what was right." Everyone looked at Elena. She was the one who stood up first, the one who spoke when everyone else was afraid. But MJ surprised them. "The Trevor Williams Community Endowment," he announced. Trevor's jaw dropped. "But I made the cuts in the first place. I'm the one who—" "You also fixed them," MJ interrupted. "You risked your career to bring us together. You organized this team when it mattered most. That's leadership. That's courage." Trevor couldn't speak. He just put his head in his hands and cried. Sarah hugged him. Marcus clapped him on the back. Elena smiled at him through her own tears. MJ walked to the front of the room. He looked at every person there. "A year ago, I sat in my office waiting for you. I was angry. I felt disrespected. I almost fired every one of you." People shifted in their seats, remembering. "Today I realize you were never late. You were exactly on time." He paused. "You showed up when I needed you most. Not when it was convenient. Not when it was easy. When it mattered. Some people thought you were challenging me, but you weren't. You were saving me from becoming someone I never wanted to be, someone who forgot why any of this matters." MJ's voice got stronger. "Some people build dynasties on championships. We're building ours on changed lives, on hope, on love, on family." The room was silent except for quiet crying. "That's the legacy I want. Not 6 championship rings. Those are just metal and diamonds. They sit in a case." He pointed to the window, to Charlotte outside. "This is the real championship. 75,000 families, children who have food, parents who have jobs, students who have hope for college. That's what winning really means." After the meeting, Elena found MJ in the hallway. "Mr. Jordan," she said quietly, "thank you for listening, for changing, for caring." MJ shook his head. "Thank you, Elena. You and your father saved me. That video he made, I watch it sometimes when I forget what's important. He looked out the window at the city. Your father said this team gave you hope, but the truth is, you gave me something better. You reminded me that the greatest victories happen when we help people who need us. That night, MJ wrote a letter to every employee. If I'm ever in my office waiting, and you're late because you're helping someone who needs it, don't apologize, I'll wait. Some things are worth waiting for, like kindness, like courage, like you. Elena framed that letter and hung it on her wall. So did Marcus, and Sarah, and Trevor. Every new employee got a copy on their first day, a reminder that the Hornets weren't just a basketball team. They were family. They were hope. They were proof that even legends can learn, even heroes can grow. The day Michael Jordan sat alone in his office, he learned the most important lesson of his life. Winning isn't about being first. It's about lifting others up. Being a champion isn't about trophies. It's about changing lives. And being a leader isn't about people following you. It's about having the courage to follow them when they show you a better way. Sometimes the greatest victories come from being willing to admit you were wrong, and the biggest wins happen when you choose people over pride. So that's the story of how Michael Jordan learned that real winning means helping others. Now we want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Tell us in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button. It helps us spread messages of kindness to more people around the world. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because every week we share true stories about courage, hope, and people who change lives. Remember, like Elena and her team showed us, sometimes standing up for what's right is the bravest thing you can do. So go out there and spread kindness today. And before you go, click on the video appearing on your screen right now. It's another amazing story you won't want to miss. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.